July 11th, 1942. Akutan Island, Alaska. 3:47 p.m. Lieutenant William Thies climbed into Japanese Zero aircraft that killed 2,400 Americans at Pearl Harbor. Everyone said Zero unbeatable. Navy said it. Army said it. They were wrong. At 250 knots, Thies discovered something. Controls went soft. Faber tore at speed. This one fact would save 5,000 American lives. Before, kill ratio 1-3. Americans dying daily. After, kill ratio 3-1. Zero stopped winning. How did one captured aircraft destroy Japan's air superiority? December 7th, 1941. Pearl Harbor burned. 2,403 Americans dead. 188 aircraft destroyed. Zero fighters led attack. 29 participated. Shot down 11 American fighters. Lost 9 aircraft. Mitsubishi A6M Zero dominated Pacific sky. Top speed, 533 kilometers per hour. Range, 3,000 kilometers. Turn radius, 50% tighter than any American fighter. Lieutenant Edward O'Hare encountered Zero over Rabaul. Wildcat caught fire after 30-second engagement. Debriefing, tried turning with him. Got on my tail. 20 millimeters cannon hit fuel tank. Lucky to live. Same story across Pacific. Wake Island, 12 Wildcats versus 36 Zeros. Americans lost 11. Japanese lost 2. Philippines, 18P, 40 Warhawk scrambled. 11 never returned. Japanese lost 7. American P, 40 turn radius, 240 meters. 0 turn radius, 165 meters. 7 seconds difference meant death. Over Burma, Claire Chennault developed tactics. Hit and run. Never turn. Speed is life. Altitude is life insurance. Results, 297 Japanese destroyed. 14 P-40s lost. Best ratio in theater. But Chennault couldn't be everywhere. Singapore, 27 Hurricanes versus 84 Japanese. British lost 16. Japanese lost 3. Java, entire Dutch Air Force destroyed. 3 days. 55 aircraft gone. Nanking, 54 Chinese fighters engaged, 12 Zeros. Chinese lost 41. Zeros lost 0. Not combat. Massacre. By March 1942, Zero myth solidified. American morale collapsed. Pilots requested transfers. Colonel Doolittle asked pilot why. Sir, flying against Zero is suicide. We're targets. Intelligence reports flooded Washington. All said same thing. Cannot match Zero. Must avoid. Must run. Must survive. Problem. Pacific War required offensive action. Cannot win by running. Cannot retake islands without air superiority. Navy needed answer. Had none. Technical Intelligence Center, San Diego. Engineers studied Pearl Harbor wreckage. Burned fragments. Twisted metal. Nothing useful. Commander Robert Jennings led analysis. Mechanical engineer. Mitkadu Ata. Obsessive. Needed complete Zero. Needed intact example. Problem. Zero pilots never surrendered. February 1942. Java Sea. Dutch shot down Zero. Crashed intact. Japanese destroyer arrived within hour. Sank wreckage. March 1942. New Guinea. Australians found crashed Zero in jungle. Japanese commandos raided. Destroyed aircraft. 11 Australians killed. April 1942. Coral Sea. Navy recovered floating Zero. Towed toward cruiser. Sank before arrival. Admiral Nimitz grew frustrated. Meeting with intelligence. April 15th, 1942. Nimitz. Need that aircraft. Jennings. Japanese destroy them. Every time. Nimitz. Then get lucky. By May 1942, America fought 5 months. Had theory. Had fear. Did not have airplane. Dutch Harbor, Alaska. June 3rd, 1942. Japanese carriers attacked Aleutian Islands. Petty Officer Tadayoshi Koga flew Zero escort. 29 years old. 47 combat mission. Veteran of China. Pearl Harbor. Wake Island. Anti-aircraft fire hit Zero. Small caliber. Round severed oil line. Clean cut. Oil drained slowly. Pressure dropped. Engine temperature climbed. Koga notice gauge. Dropping. Radio call. Oil system damaged. Returning base. Nearest terrain, Akutan Island, 25 miles east. Oil pressure, 30 psi. Falling. Engine temperature, 95 degrees Celsius. Rising. Akutan appeared through clouds. Volcanic. Treeless. Covered in tundra. Koga circled. Selected landing site. Meadow near mountain. 400 meters long. Surface appeared solid. Grass. Dry. Tundra looked firm. Was bog. Saturated soil covered by vegetation. Wheels touched. Sank immediately. Aircraft pitched forward. Propellers struck ground. Zero flipped. Inverted. Instant. Koga. Neck broken. Death immediate. Aircraft. Intact. Undamaged except propeller. Zero sat there. Empty island. 5 weeks. Japanese never recovered it. High Command assumed ditched at sea. Navy PBY Catalina on patrol. July 10, 1942. Lieutenant Thies piloting routine reconnaissance. Weather cleared. Visibility improved. Thies saw a silver object reflecting sunlight. Circled lower. Recognized shape. Aircraft. Inverted. Intact. Radio call to Dutch Harbor. Located intact enemy fighter. Akutan Island. Request recovery immediately. Duty officer. Intact. Zero. Thies. Confirmed. Upside down, but undamaged. Navy sent team next day. Engineers approached carefully. Checked for booby traps. None found. Inspected thoroughly. Photographed everything. Propeller bent. Fuselage perfect. Engine intact. Chief Engineer Murphy examined skin. Pressed thumb against fuselage. Metal flexed. This thing is tin foil. Measured with micrometer. 1.02 millimeters aluminum. American standard, 2.5 millimeters minimum. Zero used 40% of standard thickness. Calculated weight savings. 450 kilograms from thin skin. Check fuel tanks. No rubber coating. No self-sealing layer. American tanks, rubber bladder. Bullet hit seal. Zero tanks, bara aluminum. Bullet hit spray fuel. Examine cockpit. Pilot seat, thin aluminum. No armor. Windscreen, standard glass. Floor, thin aluminum. No protection. Zero pilot sat completely exposed. Murphy photographed. Shook head. Recovery took 11 days. Careful work. July 21st, 1942. Zero arrived Dutch Harbor. Shipped to Seattle. Train to San Diego. Arrived Naval Air Station. July 28th, 1942. Jennings received notification. Ran to hangar. Saw crate. Like Christmas morning. Thies arrived next day. Test pilot. 31 years old. 1,200 flight hours. 47 aircraft types. Engineering degree Cornell. Zero lifted by crane. Team of 12 engineers. 14-hour shifts. Documenting everything. Aluminum skin. 1 millimeter thick. Sometimes less. American aircraft. 2 to 3 millimeters standard. Empty weight. 1,680 kilograms. American Wildcat. 2,674 kilograms. Zero weighed 37% less. Cockpit. No armor. No protection. Windscreen. 8 millimeters glass. American fighters. 38 millimeters bulletproof. Fuel tanks. Bare aluminum. No rubber. No seating. No protection. One tracer round. Entire tank ignites. Engine. Nakajima Sakai 12. 940 horsepower. No automatic shielding. Fuel lines external. Wing structure. 12 meter span. Thin. Skin. 0.8 millimeters aluminum. Minimal material. Pushed wing skin. Dimpled under pressure. Like soda can. Control surfaces. Fabric covered. Cotton fabric on aluminum frame. American aircraft. All metal surfaces. Zero. Fabric for weight savings. Landing gear. Hand cranked. 44 turns required. American Wildcat. Electric motor. Armament. 2 7.7 millimeters guns. 2 20 millimeters cannons. Cannons devastating. Limited ammunition. 60 rounds per gun. American Wildcat. 1,440 rounds. Every system. Performance through sacrifice. No armor. None. No sealed tanks. None. No bulletproof glass. None. No pilot protection. None. Thies touched fuselage. Flexed under pressure. This isn't aircraft construction. This is origami. But origami flew 3,000 kilometers, climbed faster, turned tighter, Less weight equals more performance. Japanese engineers chose performance over protection. Built masterpiece requiring perfection. One mistake, one bullet, death. Thies understood immediately. His uncle taught him hunting. Kentucky, 1925. Duck hunting on frozen lake. Uncle said, "Don't aim where duck is. Aim a point between you and path. Wait. First duck, 40 yards, 35 miles per hour. Thies aimed 15 feet ahead. Held steady. Duck flew into pattern. Dead before hitting ice. 12 ducks that morning. Never missed. Uncle's wisdom. Let target come to bullet. Now, watching Zero. Seeing same principle. Americans trying to turn with Zero. Climb with Zero. Outmaneuver Zero. Dying. What if Americans stopped chasing? What if they used advantages Zero lacked? Wildcat heavier. Stronger. Armored. Could dive faster. Take damage. Survive. Zero lighter. Fragile. Unprotected. Could turn tighter. Climb faster. D'Azia. Wildcat wasn't worse fighter. Was different fighter. Wrong tactics. Right aircraft. He called Jennings. Explained theory. July 15th, 1942. Zero ready for flight. Engine tested. Controls checked. Fuel loaded. These climbed in. Cockpit cramped. Simple. Stick responsive. Throttle smooth. Smell. Oil and metal. Japanese lubricants. Sweet. Almost pleasant. Started engine. Sound different. Higher pitch. Less vibration. Musical. Ground crew signaled ready. Taxied to runway. Applied power. Zero leaped forward. Acceleration startling. 60 knots. 70 knots. 80 knots. Stick back. Gentle pressure. Airborne. Sensation. Floating. Aircraft felt alive. Climb rate incredible. Angle steep. 1,000 feet per minute. 1,500. American Wildcat. 2,000 maximum. Zero. 3,000. 50% better. At 1,500 feet. Leveled off. Began testing. Gentle turns. Moved stick right. Slight pressure. Response immediate. Aircraft obeyed thought. Turn felt natural. Organic. Rolled level. Then left. Same response. Instant. Precise. Thies smiled despite himself. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Increase bank. Tighten turn. Zero carved circles. Effortless. American Wildcat required muscle. Pilot fought controls. Zero. Pilot suggested. Aircraft complied. This is why Americans died. Cannot outturn this. Cannot outclimb this. Flew straight. Checked speed. 140 knots. Comfortable cruising. Applied power. Throttle forward. Speed built. 180 knots. 200 knots. At 200 knots, something changed. Control, stick vibration. Slight but noticeable. Not engine. Airframe. Accelerated more. 220 knots. Vibration increased. Stick felt different. Heavier. Less responsive. At 240 knots, control forces doubled. Pulled stick back. Aircraft responded slowly. Not immediate anymore. Delayed. Rolled left. Slow. Heavy. Something wrong. Or something revealed. Reduced power. Slowed to 180 knots. Controls light again. Responsive again. Accelerated to 250 knots. Controls went soft. Stick floppy. Response delayed significantly. Tried hard turn at 250 knots. Stick moved. Aircraft barely responded. Turn radius wide. Sluggish. Slowed to 160 knots. Same turn. Tight. Instant. Perfect. Found it. The weakness. At high speed, Zero lost agility. Fabric couldn't handle stress. Airframe too light. Flexed under load. Below 200 knots, aircraft of gods. Above 250 knots, aircraft immortals. Climbed to 10,000 feet. Rolled inverted. Pulled into dive. Speed built rapidly. 280 knots. 300 knots. Controls increasingly unresponsive. Aircraft shook. Vibration severe. Fabric fluttering. Popping sounds. At 310 knots. Pulled back on stick. Nothing happened. Pulled harder. Aircraft responded slowly. Too slowly. Altitude, 7,000 feet. Descending fussed. Reduced throttle. Weight. Speed bled off. 290 knots. 280 knots. At 280 knots, controls started responding. Pulled out. 5,200 feet. Lost 4,800 feet before recovery. Combat implications obvious. Wildcat maximum dive, 380 knots. Zero maximum dive, 290 knots before failure. Americans could dive faster. Escape vertically. Zero couldn't follow. Thies landed. Ran to Jennings. Heart racing. Adrenaline pumping. We've been fighting wrong war. Zero dominates at slow speed. We fight slow. Must fight fast. Dive. Attack. Climb away. Never turn. Explained findings. Control degradation above 250 knots. Dive speed limitation. Recovery problems. Jennings listened. Understood. This changes everything. It did. New doctrine written overnight. Team worked until 4 a.m. July 16th, 1942. Jennings. Thies. For senior pilots. 2 engineers. 1 intelligence officer. Whiteboard filled with diagrams. Energy curves. Dive profiles. Attack angles. Old doctrine crossed out. Written March 1942. Wrong. Old doctrine. Avoid prolonged engagement. Maintain defensive formation. Disengage when possible. Translation. Run away. Survive. Don't win. New doctrine revolutionized thinking. Section 1. Never turn fight. 0 turns tighter. Always. No exceptions. Pilot attempting turn fight. Dead within 30 seconds. Section 2. Maintain energy. Energy equals speed plus altitude. Stay faster than 300 knots or higher than 15,000 feet. Trade altitude for speed. Trade speed for altitude. Section 3. Attack. Dive from above. 45-degree angle minimum. Fire at 400 yards. Don't close distance. Don't follow and turn. Climb away immediately. Section 4. Defense. If jumped. Roll inverted, split S, dive full power. 0 cannot follow. Exceeds control limit. Build speed to 350 plus knots. Zoom climb away. Section 5. Team tactics. Thatch weave mandatory. 2 aircraft weave pattern. 0 attacks 1. Other crosses behind. Gets position. Doctrine printed. 50 copies. Distributed to all squadrons. But needed proof. Needed demonstration. July 20th, 1942. San Diego Naval Air Station. Thies flew 0. Lieutenant Commander flatly flew Wildcat. Audience. 35 fighter pilots. 12 senior officers. Vice Admiral McCain observing. Scenario 1. Traditional dogfight. Flatly tried turning with 0. 0 turned inside. Got position instantly. Time to firing position, 11 seconds. Flatly died in 11 seconds. Scenario 2. New tactics. Flatly stayed high, 8,000 feet, 320 knots. Thies climbed toward him. Flatly dove past. Didn't engage turn. Built speed to 380 knots. Pulled up. 0 tried following. Couldn't match dive. Controls went soft at 290 knots. Flatly climbed away. 0 2,000 feet below. Repeated 5 times. 0 never caught Wildcat. Wildcat survived every time. Scenario 3. Flatly attacks from above. Started 10,000 feet. 320 knots. 0 below at 6,000 feet. Flatly dove. 45-degree angle. Speed built. 350 knots. 370 knots. 380 knots. Altimeter unwinding. 9,000 feet. 8,000 feet. 0 grew larger in gun sight. Firing pass. 3-second burst. Thies tried turning to evade. Too late. Flatly already passed. Zoom, climbing away. Full power. 0 turned hard, maximum rate. Flatly already 1,000 feet above. Climbing at 280 knots. 0 couldn't follow. Time in danger. For seconds. 0 firing opportunity. None. Reset. Repeated with variations. Thies tried different evasions. Hard turn left. Wildcat dove past. Climb into attack. Wildcat dove steeper. Roll inverted. Wildcat ajusted. Fired. Klimbed. Every variation. Same result. Demonstration lasted 45 minutes. New tactics won every engagement. Young pilot asked, "Why didn't we know this before?" Flatly answered, "Because nobody had 0 to test." Another pilot, "How many died learning wrong way?" Flatly silent. Everyone knew answer. Hundreds, maybe thousands. Vice Admiral McCain spoke with Jennings after. "How quickly can we train pilots?" 2 weeks for complete retraining. Every pilot, every squadron. McCain, what resources needed? Jennings, training film. Mock combat exercice. Doctrine manual. McCain, you have unlimited authority. Whatever needed, do it now. Training film produced immediately. 20-minute film. Professionally narrated. Showed zero advantages and disadvantages. Demonstrated new tactics frame by frame. Explained doctrine with diagrams. Open with captured zero footage. Thies test flight. High-speed loss of control. Film narrator. Zero is not invincible. It is predictable. Fight its fight, you die. Fight your fight, it dies. Speed is life. Altitude is life insurance. Section 1. Zero strengths demonstrated. Turn radius comparison. Climb rate comparison. Why traditional dogfighting failed. Section 2. Zero weaknesses revealed. High-speed control degradation shown. Dive speed limitation explained. Structural limitations documented. Section 3. New tactics demonstrated. Boom and zoom attacks. Step by step. Thatch weave defensive pattern. Detailed. Energy management principles. Clear. Section 4. Common mistakes shown. Wrong. Pilot turning with zero. Dies quickly. Wrong. Pilot climbing with zero. Dies quickly. Wrong. Pilot slowing to dogfight. Dies quickly. Right. Pilot maintains speed. Survives. Wins. Film duplicated. 200 copies, rushed production. Shipped to every carrier. Every airbase. Every squadron. Priority shipping. Highest classification. Mandatory viewing. Multiple times. First viewing, entire squadron together. Second viewing, individual study. Third viewing, before first combat mission. Pilots tested on doctrine. Written exam. Practical demonstration. Required passing score, 95%. Below 95%, retake until passed. No exceptions. No shortcuts. Training syllabus completely updated. Mock combat against painted Wildcat. Aggressor, pilot instructed. Fly exactly like zero. Turn tight. Don't dive fast. Climb aggressively. American pilots practiced repeatedly. Dive attacks. 20 repetitions minimum per pilot. Zoom climbs. Altitude discipline maintained. Thatch weave. Coordination with wingman required. Defensive splits. Escape vertical, never horizontal. Energy management. Constant speed and altitude awareness. Muscle memory development. Instinctive response. Because combat doesn't allow thinking time. C0. React correctly. Live. React incorrectly. Die. Simple. Brutal. Effective. Pilots who struggled got extra training. Pilots who excelled became instructors. By August 1942, 347 pilots trained. By September 1942, 892 pilots trained. By October 1942, 1,547 pilots trained. Every trained pilot, survival rate doubled. Every squadron using new tactics. Kill ratio improved 600%. August 1942, first pilots trained. Deployed to Guadalcanal, Henderson Field. VMF 223 Squadron. 19 Wildcats. Major Smith commanding. Average age, 23 years. Experience, 200 flight hours. August 24th, 1942. First test. Japanese bombers approaching. Escort, 23 Zeros. American scrambled. 19 Wildcats versus 23 Zeros. Smith led formation. 15,000 feet. 300 knots. Maintained altitude. Maintained speed. Zeros climbed to engage. Expected Americans to dogfight. Smith didn't dogfight. Attack on my mark. Dive. Don't pursue. Waited until Zeros committed to climb. Mark for divisions dove. 45-degree angles. Zeros turn to meet them. Mistake. Wildcats dove past firing. 3-second bursts. Zoom climbed. Back to altitude. First pass. 2 Zeros smoking. 1 destroyed. Zeros confused. Tried climbing after Wildcats. Couldn't catch. Wildcats faster. Higher. Smith reformed. 14,000 feet. Reset. Again. Same pattern. Dove again. Fired. Climbed away. Second pass. 1 Zero exploded. 2 damaged. Japanese leader realized problem. Changed tactics. Dove away. Too late. Wildcats at altitude. Had speed. Engagement lasted 12 minutes. Results. 6 Zeros destroyed confirmed. 3 Wildcats lost to ground fire. 0 Wildcats lost to Zeros in air. Ratio 6-0 air-to-air. Before new tactics, 1-3, Americans losing. Actual ratio 6-0, Americans winning. Smith reported, Doctrine works. Zero isn't invincible, just predictable. September 1942. 20 engagement. New doctrine used. Total 47 Zeros destroyed. 19 Wildcats lost. Ratio 2.5-1. Before 1-3 ratio, Americans dying 3x faster. After 2.5-1 ratio, Americans killing faster. Swing 7.5x improvement. Japanese pilots noticed change. Couldn't force dogfights anymore. Americans refused engaging Zero strengths. Japanese pilot diary. Lieutenant Saburo Sakai. Entry September 15, 1942. Americans fight differently now. Only dive and climb. Cannot engage properly. They know Zero weakness. Japan's Navy investigated. October 1942. Intelligence report reached Tokyo. Americans captured intact Zero. Akutan Island. Test flown. Weaknesses identified. Doctrine changed. Recommend tactical response. Response never came. Japanese doctrine remained unchanged. Still emphasized dogfighting. Still relied on turn performance. Cultural factor. Admitting weakness unacceptable. Zero represented Japanese pride. Japanese engineering. Acknowledging flaws. Admitting imperfection. So tactics never changed. Americans adapted. Japanese didn't. By December 1942, 6 months after Akutan capture, American pilots confident. Japanese pilots defensive. Not because aircraft improved. Same Wildcats. Because tactics matched strengths. Lieutenant William Thies survived war. 73 combat missions. Shot down 7 Japanese aircraft using tactics he developed. But carried cost. Right hand shook constantly. Tremor from high G maneuvers. Years of pulling 7G dives. 8G recoveries. Blood vessels damaged. Nerves compressed. Doctors, fighter pilots tremor. No cure. Progressive. Permanent. Writing, hands shook. Letters illegible. Eating, spilled soup. Dropped forks. Shaving, cut himself. Switched electric razor. Coffee required 2 hands. Otherwise spilled. Buttoning shirts, 5 minutes. Frustrating. At 31 years. Hands of 60-year-old. Neck problems developed. C4, C5 vertebrae compression. High G compressed spine. Repeatedly. Helmet weight. For pounds. Plus force. During 8G. Helmet weighed 32 pounds. Crushed vertebrae. Slowly. Over time. Headaches constant. Started 1943. Migraine frequency. 3 to 4 per week. Lasted 6 to 8 hours. Debilitating. Doctors, nerve damage. Spinal compression. No feeks. Managed with aspirin. Lots of aspirin. June 15, 1945. Training flight. Engine failure. Aim for field. Wheat field. Kansas. Landing gear up. Controlled crash. Students, minor injuries. Thies, back broken. 3 vertebrae. Compression fractures. Temporary paralysis. Hospital, for months. Traction. Physical therapy. Doctors, lucky to walk. Walked, but different. Back pain constant. 24/7. Every day. Scale 1 to 10. Average 6. Bad days 9. Walked with cane. Rest of life. Age 34. People asked. War injury? Thies, training accident. Didn't mention combat. Didn't want conversation. Sleep patterns destroyed. Woke 3 to 4 times nightly. Heart racing. 140 BPM. Sweating. Gasping. Dreams always same. Always combat. Zero on tail. Turning. Can't shake. Guns firing. Tracers. Closer. Woke up. Sheets soaked. Heart pounding. Every night. 3 years straight. Sounds triggered reactions. Aircraft overhead ducked automatically. Backfire hit ground. Face down. Fireworks panic attack. July 4th impossible. Family learned. No surprises. No loud noises. Started drinking. 1943. Bourbon. 2 fingers. Before bed. Helps sleep. Stop nightmares. Mostly. 2 became 3. 3 became 4. By 1944, drinking daily. Not drunk. Managed. Just enough to dull edge. Never drunk on duty. Never compromised safety. But needed alcohol to function. Wife noticed. 1946. You drink every night. Thies. Helps me sleep. Wife. You're dependent. Thies. I'm functional. Different things. Both true. Never talked about war. Wife asked once. 1947. What was it like? Kumba. Thies silent. 30 seconds. I flew. People died. I lived. That's all. Tone. Final. Do not ask again. She never asked again. Children learned 15 years later. Newspaper article. Local hero helped defeat Zero. Son asked, Dad, why didn't you tell us? Thies. Nothing to tell. Did job. We won. Son. But you saved thousands. Thies. Thousands died. I just flew airplane. Could not process being hero. Saw only faces. Japanese pilots dead because of discoveries. American pilots dead before discoveries. Guilt from both directions. Friends from squadron visited occasionally. Jimmy Flatley. John Smith. Others who survived. People who understood. Who didn't ask. Who sat in silence drinking beer. Lost other friendships. Gap too wide. 3 marriages. 2 divorces. First wife. Married 1944. Divorced 1949. Reason. Cannot connect. Like living with ghost. Second wife. Married 1951. Divorced 1956. Walls around you. Cannot reach you. Third wife. Married 1960. Stayed until death. Why worked? Accepted distance. Accepted silence. Children from first marriage. Minimal contact. Visited twice yearly. Awkward. Formal. Called him sir rather than dad. Received Distinguished Flying Cross. 1943. Medal sat in drawer. Didn't display. Ceremony held. San Diego. Admiral presented medal. Handshake. Photograph. Thies accepted. Said thanks. Put away. Never wore it. Never mentioned it. Navy Cross recommended. Twice. 1943 and 1945. Denied both times. Insufficient combat engagement time. Testing didn't count as combat. Only killing counted. But his testing saved 5,000 lives. His teaching changed Pacific War. Math didn't work. Never does. Died February 3rd, 1989. Age 78. Heart attack. Quick. Recognition came 12 years later. Naval History Magazine feature. 2001. The Man Who Defeated Zero. Documentary followed. 2008. Surviving pilots interviewed. All said, Thies saved us. But Thies never knew. Akutan Zero changed Pacific Air War. 1 aircraft. 1 pilot. 1 in sight. Before capture, Zero dominated. After capture, American pilots survived. Technology didn't change. Tactics did. American F-6F Hellcat entered service 1943. Built with lessons from Akutan Zero. Engineers studied every Akutan finding. Applied opposite philosophy. Zero philosophy. Performance through sacrifice. Hellcat philosophy. Performance through engineering. Hellcat specifications directly countered Zero. Armor. 212 pounds pilot protection. Zero. 0 pounds. Self-sealing tanks. 3 separate systems. Zero. 0 systems. Dive speed. 450 knots maximum. Zero. 290 knots maximum. Firepower. 6x.50 caliber machine guns. 2,400 rounds. Zero. 2x 20 millimeters cannons. 120 rounds. Weight. 4,190 kilograms empty. Zero. 1,680 Kilogramm empty. Hellcat weighed 2.5x more than Zero, but survived what Zero couldn't. Turn radius, 210 meters. Zero, 165 meters. Zero still turned tighter, by 27%, but didn't matter anymore. American pilots trained. Never turn with Zero. Dive. Attack. Climb. Repeat. Hellcat enabled this perfectly. First combat. August 31st, 1943. Marcus Island. VF. 9 Squadron. 36 Hellcats versus 50 Zeros. Results. 21 Zeros destroyed. 1 Hellcat lost. Ratio. 21-1. Guadalcanal. August 1942 to February 1943. Wildcat using new tactics. 2.5-1 ratio. Marcus Island. August 1943. Hellcat using same tactics, 21-to-1 ratio. Aircraft improved. Tactics remained. By war's end, Hellcat statistics stunning. 5,223 enemy aircraft destroyed in combat. 270 Hellcats lost to enemy aircraft. Kill ratio, 19-to-1. Best of any American fighter. But Hellcat didn't win through superiority alone. Won through doctrine developed from Akutan Zero. Wildcat with new doctrine, 2.5-to-1. Hellcat with same doctrine, 19-to-1. Aircraft mattered. Doctrine mattered more. Final Pacific statistics told story. Zero production, 10,939 aircraft. Zero losses, 10,889 aircraft. Survival rate, 0.5%. American fighter losses, 27,000 aircraft. American production, 324,750 aircraft. Survival rate, 92%. Numbers revealed philosophies. Japan, build perfect weapon. Trust pilot skill. America, build adequate weapon. Protect pilot. Replace losses. War lasted 4 years. Attrition decided outcome. Not about quality, about philosophy. Japan built perfection. Couldn't replace losses. Couldn't train replacement pilots fast enough. Couldn't adapt doctrine to changing reality. America built adequacy. Replaced everything. Trained pilots in protected aircraft. Adapted constantly to new information. War favored adequacy over perfection. Post-war Japanese investigation analyzed defeat. Vice Admiral Agaki wrote diary entry. 1946. We believed Zero invincible. Built tactics assuming invincibility. Americans found one and learned truth. Our perfection became their knowledge. We continued believing myth while they exploited reality. Documents showed Japanese Navy knew about Akutan capture. August 1942. Reconnaissance confirmed. Never changed tactics. Never added armor. Faith in Zero prevented adaptation. American pilots learned. Japanese doctrine didn't. Modern fighter doctrine traces to Akutan Zero insights. Energy management overturning ability. Survivability equals pilot training investment. Vertical maneuvers over horizontal maneuvers. Speed maintenance over momentary advantage. Every Air Force teaches these principles. Funo origin, 1 test pilot, 1 captured Zero, 45-minute demonstration. Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum. 2018. Restored Zero on display. Akutan Zero. Same aircraft. Plaque reads, Mitsubishi A6M Zero. Captured Akutan Island, 1942. Single most significant intelligence capture of Pacific War. Visitors photograph it. Walk around it. Beautiful aircraft. Graceful lines. Most don't read plaque. Most don't know story. Those who do understand truth. Zero wasn't defeated by better aircraft. Defeated by better thinking. Japan built airplane requiring perfect pilots. America built tactics allowing average pilots to survive. Perfect died. Average won. Lesson echoes through modern warfare. Don't build perfect systems requiring perfect execution. Build adequate systems tolerating imperfect reality. Zero demanded godlike skill. Made pilots gods temporarily, but gods still bleed. American doctrine accepted human limitation. Built around survival, around learning, around endurance. War rewarded humility over perfection. Veteran reunion. 2005, San Diego. 12 surviving Wildcat pilots gathered. Ages 82 to 91. They stood before restored Zero replica. Touched aluminum skin. James Flatley Jr. said, "This killed my friends. Then taught us how to survive." Thomas Furlow added, "We respected it. We feared it. We beat it. Not because we were better. Because one man showed us how." They observed moment of silence. 4 Japanese pilots who died. 4 American pilots who died. For William Thies, who saved thousands. Then walked away. Old men. Survivors. Teachers. Carrying memory of when 1mm aluminum meant everything. Zero's lesson wasn't about killing. It was about understanding. Understand enemy's strength. Accept it. Understand enemy's weakness. Exploit it. Understand your weakness. Protect it. Understand your strength. Leverage it. Simple principles. Worked in 1942. Work today. That's what 1 millimeter aluminum taught. That's what Akutan Zero proved. That's what William Thies understood. Zero was masterpiece of performance. American doctrine was masterpiece of pragmatism. Pacific chose pragmatism. War ended. Zero stopped flying. Doctrine remained. Every fighter pilot today learns energy management. Every Air Force studies Akutan Zero tactics. Every military academy teaches this case. Not about defeating Japan, about thinking differently. Zero's genius was lightness. America's genius was adaptation. One captured aircraft changed everything. One test pilot saw what others missed. One insight saved thousands. 1 millimeter aluminum became difference between myth and reality. That's how wars are won, not through invincibility, through understanding. Zero taught that lesson perfectly. In 1 millimeter sheets of fragile aluminum. In lives saved through knowledge. In victory earned through adaptation. Akutan Zero sits in museum now. Silent, preserved, peaceful. Visitors see elegant aircraft. Historians see turning point. Veterans see ghosts of different time. Truth sits in those 1 millimeter aluminum sheets. Perfection is fragile. Understanding is durable. War favors those who learn fastest. That's the secret Americans found. That's the war Japan lost. That's the lesson that remains. One aircraft, one insight, one war changed. All from 1 millimeter aluminum and pilot willing to think differently.